Hello everyone, I am Abigail and today I will be analyzing the Sims 4 Get Famous trailer. So it starts out like any other trailer inside The Sims by showing off the beauty of the world and of course trying to show off as much clothes as possible along with just showing the world, and then it fast plays back to show how this sim became famous. On top of trying to show us as much clothes as possible, they're trying to show us all our new hairstyles, which I don't know what's the difference between a hairstyle that we have before and a new hairstyle because I don't spend nearly that much time in CAS. I will be going over the different elements of the production standpoint later. So that aside, she apparently became very famous by being a notable actress. And then of course paparazzi. They're also excited to see her. And then she decides to be a good celebrity, it looks like. So there's a lot to unpack. And then of course the pre-order date, it'll be available on November 16th. So let's unpack it. I would like to start with something that I noticed by just watching it. And that is the billboard that is inside this particular shot with Vlad on it. I think it is a very nice nod to vampires, but it has me thinking that we might get another monster game pack, which would be absolutely fantastic. So that's it for my predictions, and I kind of want to look at more of the technical things that we see inside the studio proper, because I'm actually going to school to learn how to use this equipment, so I am an expert. No, you're not! Shut up. Also, it looks like there's a plane inside this picture. Okay then, now let's examine my favorite part about this trailer, and that is the new toys we're going to be getting in it. So, I'll point out some of the oddities that I've noticed later, but first, that right there looks like it's a soundboard. And now time to go on a little rant about soundboards, and there's actually another one, so I will go ahead and fast forward to that part so we can talk about it a little bit better. Oh, and someone's on their phone. Okay, so here we are with the soundboard. Now to the untrained eye, it looks like she's just working on sound, and I kind of wish we had a monitor like that was sound editing at school, but alas, we do not, and you don't really need one. But here is my problem with this. If you look at the trailer, she is on the floor of the studio. Now, you're probably thinking, but why is that an issue? I'll tell you why it's an issue. The sound people should not be on the floor, because if the systems that are controlling the microphones are on the floor, it will cause an infinite feedback loop. An infinite feedback loop that could blow up the entire audio system. So good to have it on the floor for a trailer just to show how awesome it is that we're finally getting sound editing inside the game. But inside an actual standpoint for actually using the equipment, it's not what would actually be used. They would be inside their own little area with a headset in order to communicate with the director, or at least hear when the director wants sound. So that's my little rant on that. Let's go see what else we can pick apart. The next bit on the list for stuff to talk about is of course costume designing, but I'm not a costume designer, nor do I like hair or makeup design, so I don't know anything about this, so skip. But in all seriousness, actual Victorian costuming that we might be able to access while we are outside of the studio would be really cool, and it means I won't have to look for medieval or Victorian era clothing mods. So that would be great. I want to show off the clothes from this mod because they're really pretty, but I don't remember what it was called, so please don't ask. I'm pretty sure if you go to any website and search medieval clothes, you'll be able to find them, but I'm just really looking forward for hopefully not having them. Anyways, let us have a look at all of the camera equipment inside the trailer, because that's what I like most, camera, because camera is amazing. So as you can see from this establishing shot, they only really have the one camera. Oh wait, nope, there's two. So they have two cameras. One is stationary and one is on a dolly track. So that's really cool. And back here we have an umbrella light that's used for photography. It makes light softer, and of course dress rehearsal again, so skip. And this guy is adjusting the camera focus, and he also has a headset. So that's really cool. Those are Omni lights. I'm going to swing back and talk to them in a moment, but anyways, back to camera. Anyways, from the look of it, it looks like the cameras that we use at school, down to the stand with that lever thing, as well as the focus. Although our focus is not that big and bulky, it's actually on the leather thing that he's holding. So that's kind of cool. I don't know exactly what kind of makeup camera this is, but it's just a tad different from the ones that we use at school, but it's similar enough that I don't have any quarrels with it. And also the importance of the headset. Alrighty then, headset. This is going to be fun. Cameras are mostly silent when they're on the floor. The only time they're allowed to actually speak into their headset is if there is a problem with either the camera or themselves. The earpiece is mainly there so that they can hear the director's commands and be ready for their shot. So that's just background information. Also, cameras are only called by the number of their camera. So he doesn't have a marker on his camera, so I don't know which camera number he is, but for the sake of argument, we'll say that he is camera 1. So he only needs to be listening to the director. When the director says ready camera 1, take camera 1, and any other directions that the director gives to camera 1. So, yeah. That's probably more information that you actually wanted to know about camera. Anyways, if you thought I was done talking about cameras, you are wrong. This is an animated dolly track. Oh my golly, this is going to be such fun. Anyways, let me get a better picture of it and I'll talk about it. Anyways, a dolly track is a track that a camera stand is set up on and then is used to truck right or left, which is the movement of a camera, not exactly a pan, which is the movement of the camera proper. So this actually guarantees to get very smooth movement shots. So it's definitely a good thing to show off. Plus it looks really cool. That big microphone on top of the camera is called a shotgun mic. It picks up the sound around it inside the studio. So it's not normally used inside a setting like this. There will probably be microphones on set to pick it up. But yeah, also I can tell that the camera is not fully rendered in, so hopefully they add just a tad bit more detail into it. So yeah, now if you still thought I was done talking about cameras, you're still wrong. I'm very sorry, but there's a lot of cameras inside this trailer. Actually, I lied. It doesn't look like they have a jib in here, so they're probably thinking that their little dolly system can be both a dolly and a jib. So let me see if I can actually find a picture of a jib camera to show you so you know what I'm trying to find. Okay, this is a jib. As you can see, it's pretty much a long arm with weights, a monitor, and a camera. So what this does is that it does perfect pan shots at various angles, especially higher and lower. It is used more for vertical, and it's really, really cool. I actually got to use one, so it's super cool. I'm disappointed in you, Sims, for not having it. So, shame on you. I guess I'll have to go find something else to look at. Let's look at the sets and the lights that are used, because it's kind of important. Although these lights are really cool and kind of iconic for the studio setting, these are actually not the lights that would be hanging from a studio like this, or at least inside a newsroom. So yeah, they're kind of cool. Also, something else that I didn't notice about the background on a lot of the sets is that it doesn't look like there's any backlighting. As you can kind of see from the set, we do have 2 lights that are pointed at it, as well as the overhead lights. But I'm not seeing any on-set background lights, which is kind of a requirement for the 3-point lighting system, which I will briefly go over. And on a side note, not being able to see the lights actually might be a good thing because it doesn't take away movie magic. Anyways, the lighting system. So the first part about the lighting system is figuring out where your subject is going to be, as illustrated by this little person, and then figuring out where your camera is going to be. Then you use your field light, key light, and backlight. Backlight softens the image and gives more depth to the light, while the key light also does the same thing, sharpening shadows, and the field light softens shadows. All in all, they work together to make a good composition and making whatever you're shooting a lot more interesting. As for more random observations, this cityscape looks a lot like Brightport from The Sims 3 to me, so it'll be really nice to revisit the place, although they changed the name. But same name, different streets. That dress she's wearing looks like it's from Vintage. That's probably new. So, yeah. Also, it looks like there's an Indiana Jones and an alien having a snack on the floor, of all places, and on the set for a Victorian soap commercial. So, get back to your own set. You lousy freeloaders. As for some things I've heard about the game, you can choose to be a good celebrity or a mischievous one. And they are adding a new panel to keep track of your star points, and you can become famous by being inside the pictures of paparazzi with other celebrities. So it works a lot like The Sims 3. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward for getting into this pack. Also, it does look like you can become famous through other careers, not just acting, because there was a famous person who was playing their guitar back there. So yeah, I'm Abigail, and I'll see you next time. Stay in touch. Bye!